Alex stood in the chamber, his heart still racing from the moment Valira had locked the door. The radio's hum filled the room, steady and almost alive, a rhythm that seemed to echo the Queen's calm yet commanding presence. He had repaired the device, but now he realized that the repair was only the beginning. Valira had called him forward for a reason, and whatever lay ahead was clearly meant to test him. The Queen's eyes followed his every movement. "You have fixed what was broken," she said. "That shows skill, but skill alone does not measure a mind. Intelligence, creativity, courage, these are the qualities we value. Let us see if yours are enough." He had faced challenges before, but nothing like this. Humans were often underestimated, yet history had shown that they could turn apparent weakness into strength. He would need every bit of that ingenuity now. Valira moved toward the glowing nodes of the radio. With a flick of her hand, the lights shifted, forming new patterns. They were intricate, a constantly changing array of colors, pulsing in sequences that seemed impossible to track. "This is your first test," she said. "Observe, understand, solve." At first glance, it seemed random, but he knew that nothing in Zitrian technology was accidental. He focused, looking for repetitions, anomalies, and subtle connections. Minutes passed. The patterns shifted, becoming more complex. Alex moved closer, tracing the flows of energy with his hands, careful not to touch the crystals directly. He realized that each pulse affected another, creating feedback loops that altered the sequence in real time. It was more than a puzzle, it was a living system. He remembered something a mentor on Earth had told him. When you can't find the answer, change the way you look at the problem. He stepped back and observed from a new angle, noticing that the sequences formed shapes when viewed in 3 dimensions, not just in lines. The lights weren't random, they were a language. Alex's mind raced. He began experimenting, tapping nodes in precise timing, adjusting the flow of energy slightly, watching how the pattern responded. Each correct adjustment made the pulses synchronize more harmoniously. Each mistake caused subtle disruptions that taught him something new. He realized that Valira wasn't just testing his knowledge, she was testing his ability to adapt, to think creatively under pressure. Hours seemed to pass in minutes. Sweat dripped down his forehead, but he didn't stop. Humans were built for problem-solving in unpredictable situations. While Zitrians relied on flawless logic and careful calculation, Alex could improvise, make leaps of intuition, and see connections that machines or aliens might miss. Finally, he noticed a subtle rhythm hidden beneath the main pulses. It was slower, almost like a heartbeat, and it carried information. Alex reached for his portable analyzer, carefully connecting it without disturbing the nodes. Data streamed across the screen, a series of complex signals layered beneath the visible pattern. It was clever, very clever. Valira watched him quietly. "Do you understand what you see?" she asked. "I think so," Alex said. "It's more than a signal, it's a network within a network, a hidden layer that carries information across great distances. It's a form of communication even Zitrians must protect carefully." Not only had he understood the system, but he could also operate it. He could make it do what it was designed for, and maybe more. "Good," Valira said, her voice soft but approving. "You have learned quickly, but understanding alone is not enough. You must demonstrate creativity." This portion was more intricate, with overlapping layers of nodes, each reacting to the others. The sequence now formed an elaborate pattern that shifted unpredictably. Alex realized that the challenge was no longer simply technical, it was strategic. He crouched and studied the patterns. The nodes responded to touch, to timing, and even to the direction of observation. It was a complex dance, a puzzle that tested perception, patience, and lateral thinking. For a moment he hesitated. Humans were not native to this technology. The Zitrians had designed it for their own minds. But humans had one advantage: unpredictability, creativity under pressure, a willingness to try the untested. Alex began experimenting. He tested sequences, adjusted pulses, then stepped back to observe. The patterns shifted in unexpected ways, but he learned from each response. Slowly, he found a rhythm. By combining careful observation with intuitive leaps, he began to unlock the hidden layers. The lights pulsed more steadily, and the patterns began to reveal their logic. Valira watched silently, her expression unreadable. Then finally she spoke. "You are interesting," she said. "Most species would fail at this point. They see patterns only as obstacles, not as tools. You adapt. That is rare." They could think, improvise, survive, and sometimes outsmart even the most advanced minds. He worked through the final layers, discovering a series of encrypted signals embedded in the network. These signals weren't just for communication. They contained vital data about Zitrian systems, locations, and movements. It was impressive, even dangerous. But Alex's focus was on understanding, not misusing. He realized that the Queen had designed this test not to challenge his ethics, but to see how he thought. Hours passed. The patterns grew more complex, the room darker except for the glowing nodes, yet Alex persisted. His mind raced, connecting signals, predicting sequences, improvising solutions. And then, finally, he reached the last layer. He aligned the nodes with precision, synchronized the pulses, and the hidden signals stabilized. The radio hummed with a new strength, transmitting flawlessly across the chamber. Alex leaned back, exhausted but exhilarated. He had solved it. Velira's eyes glimmered faintly. "Impressive," she said. "You have passed the first stage. But understand this. The universe beyond this room is vast, unpredictable, and dangerous. Skill and intelligence alone will not be enough. You must combine them with courage." Now it seemed his species would have to prove itself on a much larger stage. The Queen moved closer, her voice softer, almost conversational. "I did not lock the door to intimidate you," she said. "I locked it to focus your mind, to remove distractions. You see, the universe does not wait for hesitation. It rewards decisiveness, creativity, and courage. You have shown all three. Every skill, every instinct, every small advantage honed over centuries of survival had led to this moment. Thank you," he said quietly. I won't fail. And yet, I believe your species may surprise even me." He felt a surge of determination. Whatever lay ahead, he would face it. Humans had survived impossible odds before. They had invented, improvised, and overcome when all else failed. And now, in a chamber with an alien queen and a device that pulsed like a living heart, Alex understood that ingenuity and courage were universal languages, languages even the Zitrians could not ignore. The radio hummed steadily, alive and vibrant. Alex looked at Velira, then at the patterns of lights. "I'm ready," he said. The Queen inclined her head. "Good," she said. "Then the real challenge begins. Prepare your mind, you will need it." Hours later, he would reflect on this moment as the beginning of something extraordinary. But for now, there was only the task before him, the test, and the pulse of the alien radio. A rhythm that seemed to challenge him to rise, to think, to prove that humans were a species worth noticing. And rise he would. Alex had spent hours studying the patterns of the radio, his mind stretched thin but alive with focus. He had passed Velira's first challenge, but something inside him told him that the real test was only beginning. The radio's hum seemed to resonate with more than energy, it carried purpose. He leaned closer, his eyes scanning the pulses, searching for layers beneath layers. The chamber was quiet except for the rhythmic glow of the crystal nodes. Velira stood at a distance, her eyes calm but alert. She said nothing, letting him work, letting him think. Alex appreciated that. Humans thrived when trusted to make decisions, to improvise. Zitrians were brilliant, but they often relied on rules, logic, and careful calculation. Humans thrived in chaos. Alex adjusted a node slightly, and the signal pulsed differently. He noticed a subtle pattern emerging beneath the main transmission. It was faint, almost hidden like a whisper beneath a roar. He connected his analyzer again, careful not to disturb the delicate network. Data flowed onto the screen, a series of encrypted transmissions, moving at speeds faster than any human network. He stared at the sequences. They were Zitrian in origin, but encrypted beyond anything Earth had seen. And yet, he felt he could understand them. Humans had an advantage Zitrians sometimes overlooked, the ability to see patterns where others saw only complexity. Alex's mind raced, connecting the pulses, the shifts in frequency, the timing of node responses. Slowly, a picture began to emerge. It was a warning. He leaned closer, his eyes widening. The transmissions contained information about an approaching alien fleet, hostile and advanced, far beyond anything the Zitrians had faced before. The fleet was closing in on Zitrian space at incredible speed. Alex's heart pounded. The device he had repaired was not just a communication tool, it was a key to survival. Velira's voice broke the silence. "You see it," she said softly. "The signals reveal more than they show. Most would not notice, most would panic, but you have begun to understand. Humanity may have the edge we lack: creativity, adaptability, unpredictability." "Then what do we do?" Alex asked. "How can we stop them?" If he could amplify certain signals, reroute transmissions, even create decoys, they might be able to confuse the enemy. But it would be risky. One mistake could alert the fleet or damage Zitrian systems. He began experimenting, Adjusting nodes, he tested frequencies, observing how signals propagated through the network. Valira watched silently, occasionally nodding. She trusted him, and that trust sharpened his focus. Humans thrived when allowed freedom to act, and Alex felt that instinct kicking in. Hours passed. He mapped out the patterns, predicting how signals would move, how the Zitrians could use them strategically. He realized that with small adjustments, the network could not only send warnings but also manipulate incoming signals, potentially misleading the approaching fleet. It was daring, it was dangerous, and it might just work. "You are thinking too fast," Valira said suddenly. "But that is good. Too slow and the opportunity is lost. Too reckless and failure is certain. Balance is the key. We can give them the impression we are somewhere else entirely, or that our defenses are stronger in one area than another. We can buy time." Humanity had survived countless challenges on Earth, storms, wars, diseases, disasters, because they could adapt, innovate, and act when others hesitated. Now that same instinct could save an entire alien civilization. He continued his work, connecting human intuition with Zitrian technology. He rerouted energy flows, created patterns that mimicked signals from other regions, and synchronized pulses to simulate multiple sources. The radio hummed with a new strength, carrying not just communication but strategy. Valira watched him carefully. "You understand the enemy," she said. "Not by their words, but by their absence, by their intent. That is what your species can do. You think beyond rules, you improvise, you survive. And humans, you have a talent for creating such moments." He worked tirelessly, running simulations in his mind, testing sequences with careful adjustments. He imagined the approaching fleet, their sensors reading the false signals he had created. He envisioned confusion spreading among their ranks, hesitation slowing their advance. Humans thrived under pressure, and Alex felt alive in a way he never had on Earth. Hours melted into each other. The chamber was quiet, except for the hum of the radio and the faint pulse of the lights. Alex's fingers moved with precision, confidence, and creativity. Every adjustment, every connection, every sequence was a step toward giving the Zitrians a chance at survival. Finally, he leaned back, exhausted but exhilarated. The network was stabilized. The false signals were in place. The hidden transmissions were aligned with human logic, designed to mislead the enemy fleet while giving the Zitrians time to prepare defenses. Valira stepped closer, her eyes glowing faintly. "You have done well," she said. "Even we did not foresee all of your solutions. That is why humans are valuable. You think in ways no other species does." "Then we can buy time," he said. "We can slow them down, we can give your people a chance." Humans had survived impossible odds before, and now that survival instinct was needed on a galactic scale. He understood that failure was not an option, that hesitation could cost countless lives. But he also knew something else. Humans had an edge that even advanced civilizations often overlooked. They were unpredictable. They could improvise. They could turn impossible situations into victories. He adjusted the final nodes, synchronized the pulses, and watched as the radio network responded flawlessly. The hidden transmissions were complete, carrying not just information but strategic advantage. He had used human intuition to enhance alien technology in ways even Zitrians had not imagined. Valira's voice broke the silence. "Impressive, you have not only repaired our technology, but you have improved it. That is rare. That is why humans are valuable. That is why you are here." That was the essence of HFY, rising to challenges with ingenuity, defying expectations, and turning weakness into strength. Hours later, he would rest, reflecting on the hours of work and the hidden transmissions he had unlocked. But for now, he remained at the console, making final adjustments, preparing for the next step. The alien fleet was approaching. The universe was vast, dangerous, and unpredictable, and humans had just shown that they could rise to meet it. Valira stepped closer, her eyes glimmering with approval. "You have shown creativity, insight, and courage, but remember this, the fleet is vast, they are strong. Our survival depends on your continued ingenuity. You have begun to show your species true value." Alex knew that what he had done could change the outcome of the approaching conflict. He had taken human ingenuity, combined it with alien technology, and created a tool that could mislead a powerful enemy. And that was only the beginning. The chamber was alive with energy. The radio hummed steadily, its hidden transmissions now aligned, sending carefully crafted signals to mislead the approaching fleet. Alex stood over the controls, exhausted but alert. Sweat soaked his shirt, and his fingers ached from hours of precise adjustments, yet he felt more alive than ever. This was not just repair or observation. This was creation, innovation, and strategy all at once. Humanity's ingenuity was being tested on a scale he had never imagined. Valira moved beside him, her presence calm and commanding. "You have done well," she said. "The hidden signals will buy us time, but it is not enough. The fleet approaches faster than expected. We must prepare defenses. They'll adapt if we only rely on deception. Show me what we have, and I'll help find ways to improve it." Their technology was beautiful, almost organic in its complexity, but Alex quickly noticed that it relied heavily on fixed protocols and carefully calculated steps. It was brilliant, but rigid. That was where humans excelled. Humans could improvise, find shortcuts, and see possibilities beyond strict rules. He stepped forward, observing a section of energy shields designed to protect the city's core structures. "These are strong," he said, "but they rely on constant energy flow. If the fleet attacks in multiple directions, some sections might fail before the system can respond. Our systems are designed for maximum efficiency. This way," he explained, "if one section is hit, others can compensate instantly. The system adapts in real time, not just according to preset protocols." Humanity had survived countless challenges not by being perfect, but by thinking differently, improvising, finding creative solutions under pressure. And now that same trait could save an alien civilization. Next, he turned his attention to the communications network. "We can amplify our deceptive signals even further," he said. "We can make the fleet think there are multiple locations, false defenses, and larger forces than we actually have. If we synchronize it with your shields, we can control where they attack first. That is why your species is valuable." Alex guided them in adapting their technology, showing small tweaks that made systems more flexible, more responsive, more unpredictable. It was exhausting but exhilarating. Humanity's edge was creativity, and he was using it to its fullest. Valira approached him again. "Your mind is sharp," she said. "And yet, caution is necessary. The fleet is not only powerful but intelligent. They will notice patterns if we are careless. Not predictable, not limited by protocol, capable of innovation when survival depends on it. That is why you are here." Humans had survived because they could think differently. They could improvise. And now he was proving it on a scale that stretched across a solar system. By late evening, the defenses were nearly ready. The city's shields glowed with multiple layers, pulsing dynamically. The communications network hummed with strength, sending signals across the galaxy. The approaching fleet would be deceived, delayed, and uncertain. Humanity had given the Zitrians a fighting chance. Valira stood beside him, her expression calm but approving. "You have done more than repair," she said. "You have improved, you have adapted. That is rare. That is why your species is valuable." Humans had survived countless challenges, often when others expected them to fail. They had invented, improvised, and overcome, and now on a galactic stage they were doing it again. Suddenly alarms rang through the chamber. The sensors detected movement, ships on the edge of Zitrian space. The fleet had arrived sooner than predicted. Valira's eyes sharpened. "Time is short," she said. "We must finalize preparations." The Queen observed silently. "Your species thrives under pressure," she said. "You see opportunity where others see danger. That is why humans are remarkable." They hesitated, unsure of the true location of the Zitrian defenses. The shields pulsed dynamically, absorbing initial attacks, redirecting energy, and remaining unbroken. Alex watched the displays with satisfaction. Human creativity was making a difference. Valira nodded approvingly. "Excellent. Continue to adjust, adapt as needed. Humans understand this instinctively. Zitrians must learn from it quickly." It was not brute force, but ingenuity, adaptability, and courage that were winning the first advantage in a battle that could decide a civilization's survival. Hours passed in tense coordination. The fleet advanced cautiously, misled by signals, delayed by adaptive shields, and uncertain about the true strength of the Zitrian defenses. Alex worked tirelessly, adjusting nodes, rerouting energy, and recalibrating communications. Every adjustment improved the city's survival chances. Finally, a brief silence fell over the chamber. The fleet had been slowed, confused, and forced to change course. Zitrians and humans alike breathed a sigh of relief, but there was no time to celebrate. The danger was far from over. Valira approached Alex, her eyes glowing faintly. "You have done more than I expected," she said. "You have shown creativity, courage, and adaptability. Your species has potential that even we underestimated. This battle is only beginning, but you have given us hope. We improvise, adapt, and act when it matters most. That is what I did and what we will continue to do." Now they were proving that same resilience and creativity on a galactic scale. The radio hummed steadily, the shields pulsed dynamically, and the signals carried human ingenuity across space. He realized that the battle ahead would test them further. But for now, humanity had shown its value, not through brute force, but through intelligence, adaptability, and courage. The Zitrians had seen what humans could do, and the galaxy would not underestimate them again. Valira watched him one last time before stepping back. "Prepare yourself," she said. "The next phase is coming, and we will need every ounce of creativity, every moment of ingenuity. Humans, you have proven your worth, but the galaxy is vast, and threats are endless." The hum of the radio, the glow of the shields, and the pulse of energy through the city reminded him of one thing. Creativity, courage, and adaptability were universal languages, and humans had mastered them. He was ready. The approaching fleet was enormous, a wall of dark metal and glimmering lights stretching across the edge of Zitrian space. Sensors picked up their movements in real time, each ship pulsing with deadly energy. The Zitrians had prepared their defenses, and Alex's adjustments to the shields and communication networks were in place. Yet even as he observed the enemy's advance, he knew that the battle would test every ounce of human ingenuity, Zitrian technology, and combined strategy. Valira stood beside him, calm as ever. "The fleet is close," she said. "They will strike soon. Our systems are ready, but the human element, the unpredictability, is what will give us the advantage." He had seen the Zitrians' brilliance, and he had improved their defenses with human creativity. Now the moment of truth had arrived. The fleet's first strike was imminent. The sensors flared as the enemy fleet entered Zitrian space. Their ships moved with precision, scanning for weaknesses. Alex's pulse quickened. This was what he had prepared for. Humans thrived under pressure. Improvisation was their specialty. He directed the Zitrians to release the first set of deceptive signals. Lights pulsed across the city's communication arrays, sending false information to the enemy. Multiple shield layers activated, energy flows adjusting in real time. The fleet hesitated, scanning for the real targets. Their sensors misread the signals, causing confusion among their ranks. Alex allowed himself a small smile. Humans excelled in moments like this, turning disadvantage into opportunity. "They're reacting," he said. "The false signals are working. They don't know where to strike first." Zitrians must learn quickly. Humans thrived by seeing what others overlooked, and he was about to use that advantage. "Prepare the secondary decoy sequence," Alex instructed. "We'll create multiple energy signatures across the city, make them think there are more defenses than exist. If they concentrate on the wrong points, we can protect critical structures while misleading them." Pulses of light appeared across the city, shimmering as if alive. The fleet hesitated again, unsure where to target. Alex felt a thrill. Humans had survived countless challenges because they could adapt, improvise, and think creatively. Now that same skill was saving an entire civilization. As the enemy ships adjusted, Alex directed new energy flows, creating overlapping shields that could respond to multiple points of attack simultaneously. The radio hummed with hidden signals, guiding Zitrian defenses and coordinating strategies with precision. The city's defenses pulsed dynamically, alive with adaptive energy, and Alex marveled at the result. Humans had combined their ingenuity with alien technology to create something stronger than either could achieve alone. Valira watched closely. "You are manipulating perception and reality simultaneously," she said. "Few species can do this. Humans excel where others follow protocol blindly. That is why your presence is invaluable." The first wave of attacks subsided, but more ships approached. Alex and Valira coordinated quickly. He suggested moving some energy flows to simulate an expansion of defenses, giving the impression that the city had more powerful shields than reality allowed. The fleet reacted as intended, redirecting attacks toward empty sectors. "Every moment counts," Alex said, sweat running down his face. "We can't rely on brute force. We must use strategy, timing, and creativity." Humans, by contrast, acted on intuition, improvisation, and lateral thinking. He quickly devised a plan. "We'll use their logic against them," he said. If we predict how they calculate attacks, we can feed them false data that appears consistent but leads them into mistakes. We'll trap them without direct confrontation. That is precisely the human advantage. Use it. The Zitrians looked at him in awe. Humans had survived for millennia because they could adapt, improvise, and act unpredictably. Now that survival instinct was saving their civilization. Alex felt a surge of pride. Humanity had proven its worth not through strength alone, but through intelligence, creativity, and courage. Hours passed as the battle continued. Alex worked tirelessly, coordinating signals, adjusting energy flows, and improvising solutions in real time. Zitrians followed his instructions, learning to combine their technology with human ingenuity. Together, they created a defense network that was far stronger than either could achieve alone. Velira approached him again. "You have done more than I imagined," she said. "Your species has a talent for turning disadvantage into advantage. Creativity, courage, adaptability, these are qualities that define humans. You have proven it here in the most difficult situation. If we push them carefully, we can force them to retreat or scatter without unnecessary destruction." "Look at them," Alex said. "They don't know where to attack. Every move they make is being predicted and countered without firing a shot at the real defenses." Humans had survived countless challenges, often when others expected them to fail. They had improvised, adapted, and overcome. And now, on a galactic stage, they had proven themselves once more. The fleet, realizing the futility of their attacks, began to withdraw. Confusion and hesitation slowed their retreat, giving the Zitrians time to assess damages and strengthen defenses. Alex and Velira watched as the last ships disappeared beyond the edge of Zitrian space. The chamber was quiet except for the hum of the radio and the pulse of the shields. Alex wiped sweat from his forehead, feeling the weight of hours spent coordinating, adjusting, and improvising. He had done it. Human creativity, combined with Zitrian technology, had saved the city. Velira approached, her expression calm yet approving. "You have shown courage, intelligence, and creativity. You have taken human ingenuity and applied it on a scale few species could imagine. That is why your presence here was necessary. That is why humans will matter in this galaxy. We survive, we adapt, we find solutions when others fail. That is what we do best." Humans had survived impossible odds on Earth countless times, and now they had done it on a galactic scale. It was not brute strength that had saved the Zitrians, but creativity, adaptability, and courage, the essence of humanity. Velira stood beside him one last time before leaving the chamber. "Your species has proven itself today," she said. "You are clever, courageous, and unpredictable. That is why we will need humans in the future, not as subordinates but as equals." The shields pulsed dynamically, a testament to the collaboration between humans and Zitrians. The enemy fleet had been delayed, confused, and deterred, giving the Zitrians time to prepare for the next challenge. Alex knew that the galaxy was vast, unpredictable, and full of dangers, but humans had shown that they could rise to any challenge. It was not strength alone that mattered, but ingenuity, courage, and creativity. And humanity had all three in abundance. He looked out of the chamber at the stars beyond Zitrian space. Each star was a possibility, each planet a challenge, each unknown a test. Humans had survived for millennia because they adapted, improvised, and acted when others hesitated. Now they had proven it again on a galactic scale. Velira's voice broke the silence. "Prepare for the future. The galaxy is large and threats will come again, but you have proven that humanity is capable. You have proven that survival, ingenuity, and creativity are universal languages." Humans had survived wars, disasters, and impossible odds on Earth. Now they had survived the stars not through force, but through intelligence and adaptability. The radio hummed steadily, the shields pulsed dynamically, and the city's defenses were ready for whatever came next. Alex smiled faintly, knowing that humanity had not only survived, but had proven itself worthy of the stars. And in that moment, he understood something fundamental. Humans were unpredictable, ingenious, and resilient. And that was enough to make them a force the galaxy would never underestimate.